Hello? Yeah. Yeah, this is such an incredible space. This is crazy. I think nobody in New York could believe this place. It's such a perfect place to read, but also just to see movies here. It's just a dream. So I'm very happy, and I'm delighted to be in Athens. I've only been to Greece once before, and it was radical and revolutionary and fun and exciting to be here before, and I'm so happy to be here again. So. And I'm going to do the obvious thing, which is to read this poem called Greece. Because I live in, you know, I've been a poet in New York since the 70s. I grew up in Boston. I came to New York in 1974, and I moved around New York a little bit and landed in one apartment. And I've lived there ever since. So I'm an East Villager, and the East Village used to be like Exarchia, and did I say that correctly? Yes. And so this, you know, it feels great to be in a neighborhood that reminds me of what my neighborhood more resembled, because now it's all partying and bros and not such a cool place. But I have lived in different in different forms of artistic poverty in New York. And so the thing that's funny about this Greece poem is it's about transporting a poor New York poet to Greece, which the poem did. It's like very funny. So all the people are always asking, "Does poetry do anything?" I was like, "Totally." You know, it gets you on a plane. So I was 24 when I wrote this poem. This summer, I tell my friends, I intend to spend a solid month in Greece. This is ridiculous, my friends say. Look at yourself. Your shoes are worn thin. When rent time comes, you fall down on the street and cry until someone comes along and drops dollar bills on you. I will go to Greece if I want. Living on a Greek isle, bordered by the blue Aegean, in a small stone house, I can go to Greece if I want. On July 1st, sitting in my apartment, Greek beige, with my sandals on, I will be in Greece. This is madness, my friends say. You cannot travel by sheer desire. I agree with them. It's madness. But in Greece, I will be sane.
I guess by now you beg to disagree with them, as you said.
What's that?
By now you beg to disagree with them. I mean, you can travel to Greece by sheer desire.
Yes, yes.
There you go.
Okay. We'll read. Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Sure, yeah,
okay.
Yes.
So, Ελλάδα. Φέτος το καλοκαίρι λέω στους φίλους μου ότι προτίθεμαι να περάσω ολόκληρο μήνα στην Ελλάδα. Τι χαζομάρες, λένε οι φίλοι. Κοίτα πως είσαι. Τα παπούτσια σου φθαρμένα. Όταν ήρθε η ώρα για τον νίκη, πέφτεις στον δρόμο και κλαις μέχρι να περάσει κάποιος να σε ράνει με δολάρια. Θα πάω στην Ελλάδα, ολόκληρο μήνα. Να ζω σε ένα ελληνικό νησί με σύνορο το Αιγαίο, σε ένα πέτρινο σπιτάκι. Αν θέλω, θα πάω στην Ελλάδα. Την 1η Ιουλίου θα κάθομαι στο διαμέρισμά μου, φορώντας τη σανδάλια μου και θα είμαι στην Ελλάδα. Αυτό είναι τρέλα, λένε οι φίλοι. Κανείς δεν ταξιδεύει με την επιθυμία μόνο, συμφωνώ. Είναι τρέλα. Μα στην Ελλάδα θα είμαι σόφρον.
And this one is called Holes. Once when I passed East 4th Street off 1st Avenue, I think it was in early fall. This is going to drive me crazy. Once when I passed East 4th Street off 1st Avenue, I think it was in early fall, and I had a small hole in the shoulder of my white shirt and another on the back. I looked just beautiful. There was a whole moment in the 70s when it was beautiful to have holes in your shirts and sweaters. By now it was 1981, but I carried that 70s style around like a torch. There was a whole way of feeling about yourself that was more European than American. Unless it was American around 1910, when it was beautiful to be a strong, starving immigrant who believed so much in herself, and she was part of a movement as big as history, and it explained the hole in her shirt. It's the beginning of summer tonight, and every season has cracks through which winter or fall might leak out. The most perfect flavor of it, oddly, in June. Oh, remember when I was an immigrant? I took a Black Beauty, which is a famous pill, amphetamines. I took a Black Beauty and got up from the pile of poems around my knees and just had too much energy for thought and walked over to your house where there was continuous beer. Finally, we were just drinking Rheingold, a hell of a beer. At the door, I mentioned I had a crush on both of you, what you say to a couple. By now, the kids were in bed. I can't even say clearly now that I wanted the woman, though it seemed to be the driving principle then, wanting one of everything. I was part of a generation of people who went to the bars on 7th Street and drank the cheap whiskey and the ale on tap and dreamed about when I would get you alone, those big breasts. I carried slim notebooks which only permitted 2 or 3 word lines. I need you, nearing the horse. There was blood in all my titles and milk. I had 2 bright blue pills in my pocket. I loved you so much. It was the last young thing I ever did, the end of my renaissance, an immigration into my dream world, which even my grandparents had not dared to live, being prisoners of schizophrenia and alcohol, though I was lovers with the 2. The beauty of the story is that it happened. It was the last thing that happened in New York. Everything else happened while I was stopping it from happening. Everything else had a life of its own. I don't think I owe them an apology, though at least one of their kids hates my guts. She can eat my guts for all I care. I had a small hole in the front of my black sleeveless sweater. It was just something that happened. It got larger and larger. I like to put my finger in it. In the month of December, I couldn't get out of bed. I kept waking up at 6 p.m. and it was Christmas or New Year's, and I had to start drinking and eating. I remember you handing me the most beautiful red plate of pasta. It was like your cunt on a plate. I met people in your house, even found people to go out and fuck, regrettably not knowing about the forbidden fruit. I forget what the only sin is, somebody told me recently. I have so many holes in my memory between me and the things I'm separated from. I pick up a book and another book, and memory and separation seem to be all anyone writes about, or all they seem to let me read. But I remember those beautiful holes on my back like a beautiful cloak of feeling. It's your call. I think if you feel like reading a poem in Greek, you should, and if not, you don't.
What do you guys think?
Greek yay or nay?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay?
Yay, Greek yay. Okay. Let me get my water though.
Yeah, of course. It's okay. Only gonna be one.
Μια φορά που περνούσα από την Ανατολική Τέταρτη Οδό, δίπλα στην πρώτη λεωφόρο, πρωτοφθινόπορο ήταν νομίζω, και είχα μια μικρή τρύπα στον ώμο του λευκού μου πουκαμίσου και άλλη μια στην πλάτη. Ήμουν όμορφη. Δεν ακούγαμε.
Okay.
Μια φορά που περνούσα από την Ανατολική Τέταρτη Οδό, δίπλα στην πρώτη λεωφόρο, πρωτοφθινόπορο ήταν νομίζω, και είχα μια μικρή τρύπα στον ώμο του λευκού μου πουκαμίσου και άλλη μια στην πλάτη. Ήμουν όμορφη. Υπήρχε μια ολόκληρη στιγμή στα 70's που ήταν όμορφο να έχει κανείς τρύπες στα πουκάμισα και στα χούντερ. Μα τώρα ήταν 1981 και εγώ ακόμα κουβαλούσα το στυλ εκείνο σαν παντιέρα. Είναι ένας τρόπος να νιώθεις τον εαυτό σου, πιο ευρωπαϊκός παρά αμερικάνικος. Εκτός κι αν ήταν αμερικάνικος του 1910, που ήταν τότε όμορφο να είσαι μια δυνατή πεινασμένη μετανάστρια που πίστευε τόσο στον εαυτό της και ήταν μέρος μιας τεράστιας μετακίνησης, μεγάλη σαν την ιστορία που εξηγούσε την τρύπα στο πουκάμισό της. Απόψε είναι αρχή καλοκαιριού. Κάθε εποχή έχει ρογμές από όπου ξεχύνεται ο χειμώνας ή το φθινόπωρο. Η πιο τέλεια γεύση αυτού περιέργως τον Ιούνιο. Θυμάμαι να είμαι μετανάστρια. Να παίρνω μια Black Beauty και να σηκώνομαι από τις ντάνες των ποιημάτων που με περιτριγύριζαν και να έχω απέραντη ενέργεια για σκέψη και να περπατώ μέχρι το σπίτι σου, όπου έρεε άφθονη η μπύρα. Επιτέλους, πίνουμε μόνο Ράινγκο και γάμο τις μπύρες. Στην πόρτα, σας είπα ότι την είχα πατήσει και με τους δυο σας, όπως λένε στα ζευγάρια. Τα παιδιά είχαν πέσει ήδη για ύπνο. Και τώρα ακόμη δεν μπορώ να πω ξεκάθαρα ότι ήθελα τη γυναίκα. Αν και τότε κάτι τέτοιο έμοιαζε με κινητήρια αρχή των πάντων. Να θες απ' όλα. Ανήκα σε μια γενιά ανθρώπων που έβγαιναν στα μπαρ της 7ης οδού και έπιναν φτηνά ουίσκια και βαρύλισια μπύρα και ονειρευόμουν πότε θα σε είχα μόνη. Αυτά τα μεγάλα στήθη. Κουβαλούσα κάτι λεπτά σημειωματάρια που χωρούσαν στίχους 2-3 λέξεων μονάχα. Σε έχω ανάγκη, πλησιάζοντας το άλογο. Είχαν αίμα όλοι μου οι τίτλοι και γάλα. Είχα στην τσέπη 2 γαλάζια χαπάκια. Πόσο σ' αγαπούσα. Και ήταν το τελευταίο πράγμα που έκανα, το τέλος της αναγέννησής μου, μια μετανάστευση στον κόσμο των ονείρων που ούτε οι παππούδες μου δεν είχαν τολμήσει να ζήσουν. Εχμάλωτη της σχιζοφρένειας και του αλκοόλ, κι ας ήμουν ερωμένη και των δυο σας. Και η ομορφιά της ιστορίας αυτής είναι ότι συνέβη. Ήταν το τελευταίο πράγμα που συνέβη στη Νέα Υόρκη. Όλα τα άλλα συνέβησαν ενώ προσπαθούσα να τα σταματήσω. Όλα τα άλλα είχαν δική του ζωή. Δεν νομίζω ότι τους χρωστώ καμιά συγγνώμη, παρόλο που τουλάχιστον ένα από τα παιδιά τους με συχαίνεται. Ας κάσει το κακό της, λες και με νοιάζει. Είχα μια μικρή τρύπα στο μαύρο μάνικο φούτερ μου μπροστά. Κάπως βρέθηκε εκεί και όλο μεγάλωνε και μεγάλωνε. Μου άρεσε να βάζω το δάχτυλό μου μέσα. Ήρθε Δεκέμβρης και δεν μπορούσα να σηκωθώ από το κρεβάτι. Ξυπνούσα στις 6 το απόγευμα και ξαφνικά ήταν Χριστούγεννα ή Πρωτοχρονιά και έπρεπε να ξεκινήσω να πίνω και να τρώω. Θυμάμαι να μου δίνει το πιο όμορφο κόκκινο πιάτο μακαρόνια. Λες και μου δίνει το μουλί σου στο πιάτο. Γνώρισα ανθρώπους στο σπίτι σου, μέχρι και ανθρώπους να βγούμε, να γαμηθούμε, δυστυχώς, χωρίς γνώση του απαγορευμένου καρπού. Ξεχνώ ποια είναι αυτή η μόνη αμαρτία. Κάποιος μου το είπε πρόσφατα. Πόσες τρύπες έχει η μνήμη μου. Χωρίζουν εμένα από ό,τι είναι χώρια μου. Παίρνω στα χέρια ένα βιβλίο, κι άλλο ένα, και η μνήμη και ο χωρισμός μοιάζουν να είναι τα μόνα πράγματα για τα οποία γράφουν όλοι. Ή τα μόνα που με αφήνουν να διαβάσω. Μα θυμάμαι αυτές τις όμορφες τρύπες στην πλάτη μου, σαν ένας όμορφος μανδύας συναισθημάτων.
This one's called A Gift for You. Well, actually, it's funny. In the poem, there's a man smoking a cigarette, and it's David Wojnarowicz, who some of you probably know, writer. And there was a big biography of him sitting on my bookshelf smoking, and he went into the poem. And there's another man, John Wieners, and he's just a gay poet from Boston, a very good poet. A Gift for You. Around 5:30 is a peaceful time. You can just hear the dog lapping. David lifts his smoke to his lips forever, dangling chain in the middle of everything, about the top shelf or so. The party at which I said, that's my collected works, and everyone stared, my home was so small, is it? I'm not particularly into the task of humility at the moment, but I'm not against it. It's like that deflated beach ball on a tiny chair I think of as joking with the larger one on a painting floating in air. My home is large. Love made it large once, not to get all John Wieners. And believe me, love made it small once. This place only had sex, unlike the house. I love a house. I fear a house. A house never gets laid. Frankly, who doesn't like a hotel room? I live in a hotel room, a personal one. A young person very much like me was brutal. No personal photographs, please. It was anyone's home, perfect for a party. Now I'm going fast. How the description of a drug enters a room and changes the room. Thus, with going fast, say thus if you want to go slow. To drink the wrong thing for a moment, for you to lick my thigh and your honey face. I met a dog named Izzy once. I met a dog named Alan, the calm person writing her calm poems. Now and then she shows her sacred heart. She opens her chest and a monkey god is taking a shit, swinging on his thing. You didn't know I had so much inside me, buckets of malice, Bibles of peace. I don't want to go all library on you now, like my mother, the mother of God, or my brother named Jack, who sat in a deck of cards getting hard. When she squeezes in, getting cozy, I know less what I want to say. I can open An entire room comes out each moment. That's what I mean, not things widen and flow. There's no purpose to this. As well as living in New York, I live in Marfa, Texas, which is a really, it's West Texas, very beautiful place, very mountainous, and so I'm kind of a cowboy poet too. So when I first moved there, I wrote a poem to the landscape. Yeah, what page is it? Thank you. So it's called Western Poem. Purple clouds, my doubts. Iridescent cream, my loss. Purple mountains, my friends. Buzzards circling overhead, my hopes. Birds singing, jagged singing, my indecision. Wrecked skinny tree, my past. Photographs I send home, my indiscretion. Amber dog. Amber streetlight, my reading. My appetite, my appetite. Red striped sky, my confusion. Bright yellow gray sky, my ardor. Car lights, my commotion. Telephone pole, my wishes. Stop sign, my fear. Family dollar, family dollar. Greek page. Oh, back. There we go. Courthouse, my opinion. Black cloud, white sky, hesitation. Black cloud, white sky, bliss. Blinking signals, my intentions. Black mountains, too many suggestions. Skipping white lines, my attention. A young cowboy first saw the lights. A young cowboy first saw the lights. The horns on your van, my defensiveness. That old train, my dreams. That old train.
It's not going to be as melodic as I'm Δυτικό ποίημα. Μοβ σύννεφα οι αμφιβολίες μου. Ηρυδίζουσα κρέμα η απώλειά μου. Μοβ βουνά η φίλη μου. Αρπακτικά που τριγυρνούν πάνω από το κεφάλι μου, οι ελπίδες μου. Πουλιά που τραγουδούν το λοξό τους τραγούδι, ο δισταγμός μου. Κατεστραμμένο κοκαλιάρικο δέντρο, το παρελθόν μου. Φωτογραφίες που στέλνω σπίτι μου, η αδιακρισία μου. Και χρυμπαρένιο φως του δρόμου, η αναγνωσή μου. Όρεξή μου, η όρεξή μου. Ουρανός με κόκκινες ρίγες, η σύγχυσή μου. Φωτεινοκίτρινος γκρι ουρανός στο στένος μου. Φώτα αυτοκινήτου, η αναταραχή μου. Τηλεφωνικός στήλος, οι ευχές μου. Πινακίδα στόπο, φόβος μου. Ποιότητα από τα λίδια. Δικαστήριο η άποψή μου. Μαύρο σύννεφο, λευκός ουρανός, δισταγμός. Μαύρο σύννεφο, λευκός ουρανός, ευδαιμονία. Σινιάλα που αναβοσβήνουν οι προθέσεις μου. Μαύρα βουνά, πάρα πολλές προτάσεις, παρακάμπτει τις κοινές γραμμές η προσοχή μου. Ένας νεαρός καουμπόι είδε πρώτο στα φώτα, ένας νεαρός καουμπόι είδε πρώτο στα φώτα, τα κέρατα στο βανάκι σου, η αμυντικότητά μου, εκείνο το παλιό τρένο, τα όνειρά μου, εκείνο το παλιό τρένο.
Great music. You know, if you know Marfa at all, it's like a very empty town, and there's a train that goes through 5 or 6 times a day. So you just hear this, wah, and any public event gets interrupted by the sound of the train. It's very beautiful. And you just, if you're not from the West, you're like, oh, that's so Western, you know. So this is a little one called Writing. I can connect any two things. That's God. Teeny piece of Band-Aid, little folded piece of Band-Aid. I ran to the bathroom to see my face. Sometimes I don't want to see my face in the mirror. Sometimes I can't bear my thoughts. Sometimes I can't do anything, but that's okay. Band-Aid, book, God. That's right.
Γράφοντας. Μπορώ να συνδέσω οποιαδήποτε δύο πράγματα. Αυτός είναι ο Θεός. Το μικροσκοπικό κομμάτι τσιρότου, το μικρό διπλωμένο κομμάτι τσιρότου, έτρεξα στο μπάνιο για να δω το πρόσωπό μου. Καμιά φορά δεν θέλω να δω. το πρόσωπό μου στον καθρέφτη. Καμιά φορά δεν αντέχω τις σκέψεις μου, καμιά φορά δεν μπορώ να κάνω τίποτε. Αλλά δεν πειράζει. Τσιρό του, βιβλίο Θεός, έτσι ακριβώς. Επίσης, να σας πω ότι η προηγούμενη μετάφραση ήταν του Νίκου Ερινάκη και η τωρινή μετάφραση είναι του Θοδωρή Χιώτη. Είναι διαφορετικοί οι μεταφραστές του βιβλίου, αλλά αξίζει να τους mention the name of the translators of the different fonts. So Nikos in the previous one and Thodoris in this one. Yeah?
That's very generous. Okay, this is called Lucky Kittens. The thing that's special about this book is some of the poems are really old and some of them are really new. And so the new ones haven't been published in the States yet. And, you know, so you're beating them to the punch. Lucky Kittens. I met something cool and I can't shake it. I want to write a poem to the new thing. Nothing more trans than taking a shit in the men's room in a hotel. Also, I had a perfect breakfast and am well. I exercised, all good things. And once again, I'm flying. A world without mother is a world without meat. I'm not crying. I'm flying. Honestly, I took my mother's tear from the corner of her eye. It happened when she died. I took it on my finger and I wiped it on my jeans. The rattling of paper is an exquisite disconnect. Old-fashioned, all breaks, making space, always ready for a fight. My heat is instantly shadowy, like a moving hand or sound, like no jazz at all. Another translation by Thodoris. Thodoris Χιώτης, ξανά είναι ο μεταφραστής αυτού του ποίηματος. Τυχερά γατάκια. Συνάντησα κάτι απίθανο και δεν μπορώ να το ξεπεράσω. Θέλω να γράψω ένα ποίημα αφιερωμένο στο καινούριο πράγμα. Τίποτε δεν είναι πιο τρανς από το να χέζει τις αντρικές τουαλέτες σε ένα ξενοδοχείο. Επίσης, έφαγα ένα τέλειο πρόγευμα και είμαι καλά. Έκανα γυμναστική, όλα τα καλά. Και για άλλη μια φορά πετάω. Ένας κόσμος χωρίς μητέρα είναι ένας κόσμος χωρίς κρέας. Δεν κλαίω, πετάω, αλήθεια λέω. Πήρα το δάκρυ της μητέρας μου από την αρχή του ματιού της, όταν εκείνη πέθανε. Το έβαλα στο δάχτυλό μου και το σκούπισα πάνω στο τζιν μου. Το κροτάλισμα του χαρτιού είναι μια εξαίσια από σύνδεση. Παλαιομοδίτικο, ολοκενά, δημιουργεί χώρο, πάντα έτοιμο για καυγά. Η θέρμη μου είναι ακαριαία, σκιώδη, σαν κινούμενο χέρι, σαν ήχος, που δεν μοιάζει απολύτως με καμία jazz. That not only is this edition beating the Americans in publishing for the two last poems, but it also beats the French, because Eileen's first poem ever translated into French just came out 10 days ago. So, go close. Okay, this one is from the 90s, and it was a very, it was at the height of the AIDS crisis, and so it was this moment where everybody was making work about sex, like you just had to write about sex, because, and so I was working with a dancer, and she asked me to write a score for her. And so we were collaborating, and she was very beautiful, and I had a crush on her. So I was writing words that she would then have to recite when she performed. So it was like I was putting words on her body. It was very special. I always put my pussy in the middle of trees, like a waterfall, like a doorway to God, like a flock of birds. I always put my lover's cunt on the crest of a wave, like a flag that I can pledge my allegiance to. This is my country, here, when we're alone in public. My lover's pussy is a badge, is a nightstick, is a helmet, is a deer's face, is a handful of flowers, is a waterfall, is a river of blood, is a Bible, is a hurricane, is a soothsayer. My lover's pussy is a battle cry, is a prayer, is lunch, is wealthy, is happy, is on TV, has a sense of humor, has a career, has a cup of coffee, goes to work, meditates, is always alone, knows my face, knows my tongue, knows my hands, is an alarmist, has lousy manners, knows her mind. I always put my pussy in the middle of trees like a waterfall, a piece of jewelry that I wear on my chest like a flag in America so my lover and I can be safe. Definitely my favorite poem from this collection.
which is why I demanded that I translate it.
Oh, yeah.
Βάζω πάντα το μουνί μου ανάμεσα στα δέντρα, σαν καταράκτη, σαν μια πόρτα στο Θεό, σαν σμήνος πουλιών. Βάζω πάντα το μουνί της ερωμένης μου στην κορυφή ενός κύματος, για να ορκιστώ σαν σε σημαία πάνω του. Αυτή είναι η χώρα μου. Εδώ, σαν είμαστε μόνες, δημοσίως. Το μουνί της ερωμένης μου είναι έμβλημα, είναι γκλόμπ, είναι κράνος, είναι το πρόσωπο ελαφιού, είναι ένα ματσάκι λουλούδια, ένας καταράκτης, ένα ποτάμι αίματος, μια αγία γραφή, ένας τυφώνας, ένας προφήτης. Το μουνί της ερωμένης μου είναι πολεμική αρχή, είναι προσευχή, είναι γεύμα, είναι πλούσιο, είναι χαρούμενο, είναι στη TV. Έχει χιούμορ, κάνει καριέρα, με μια κούπα καφέ, πηγαίνει στη δουλειά, κάνει διαλογισμό, είναι πάντα μόνο, ξέρει τη φάτσα μου, ξέρει τη γλώσσα μου, ξέρει τα χέρια μου, σπέρνει το φόβο, δεν έχει τρόπους, ξέρει τι θέλει. Βάζω πάντα το μουνί μου στη μέση των δέντρων σε καταράκτη, σαν κόσμημα που το φορώ στο στήθος, σαν έμβλημα στην Αμερική, για να είμαστε ασφαλείς, η ερωμένη μου κι εγώ.
This is called May 26th. I keep to tiny gestures, sweet William. Sweet William is a flower. You know this flower? May 26th. I keep to tiny gestures, sweet William, dazzling orange sky. My, dying New York.
No. It's all right. I'll correct it now. 26 Μαΐου. Περιορίζομαι σε μικροσκοπικές κινήσεις, Sweet William. Εκθαμβωτικέ πορτοκαλί ουρανέ. Δικιά μου, δικιά μου, δικιά μου, δικιά μου μελοθάνατη Νέα Υόρκη.
Are you pissed because I didn't tell you what Sweet William was? Sort of a bad moment. I'm sorry. I forgot. This man was not a conversation with you, but this man in the earlier poem named John Wieners, and some women translated that poem, and when they finished translating it, was it you? No. Or was it one of us? Yeah. A Greek poet? They said, we called him, in Greek we called him Joe Dick, because we got the dick joke. And I was like, that's no dick joke, that's his name. Like, translation's amazing. Wait. So I'm gonna write. I'm gonna read this one poem, and I want to make sure that I get the. It's very much. This is a really new poem again, which has not come out in the States yet. So it's really fun to. And it was very much about going to Anafi and meeting these guys and meeting you and all and I came back to Athens, and then a friend, Quinn Latimer, brought me to a gallery, and we saw Irish Tulia too. Amazing work, and so her work is in the poem, and it was very fun to see you at a party the other night and said, hey, you're in my book. And so this is you. But Ava was an artist, a French artist, who did this very interesting piece about boats and schedules and stuff. So I'm just getting on a plane. I think I'm leaving Greece, perhaps, in this poem. But Ava, after getting off the boat, I'm something unreliable, and this is a day for poetry. My body, one big explosion or revelation or crinkly thing. I go back. These threads of paper that happen to be my economy, repeatable and manifold, serial and sundry. What is Eileen talking about? I got myself ready to fly with a thin layer of literally sleep, but what we mean by consciousness, is it writing? This? But what? I go on, carrying hoards, awaiting an opportunity. I cut it in half, being careful to say thank you and wander on. I'll make something public, eventually filtering back to the real, a promise or two, and really keeping some room for the lively impertinence of change. I'm a little unsure if you believe me. Do I? I get up. I bump my head on something soft, a person. I'm sorry. It's okay. Is this 18 or 19? 19. His fingers flex. Now he's explaining the equipment to his neighbor. Neighbor? Somebody, somewhere, this floaty stuff? Knowledge, the faces? coming at me, hopeful, suspicious, surly, bland. They just wanting now. I am traveling. What if I really was everyone? Forget all the neighbor shit. Does this have neighbors? How does it hold what it's writing by hand? I love this edge. It wasn't even a neighborhood, Bob, and I decided to spend my life there. At least our row is complete. The plane has too many people. The world has. Series of cartoons in which the world has sad thoughts. I'm dead, but who may read my signs? I killed the dinosaurs and now I kill you. Is anybody out there? A planet hopelessly alone, calling to the present and the past. The old definition got us here. My blackness is a sword jabbing through space, lacking a target. You did this too. Yourself, the only bands are marching bands. I'm part. What?
This is continuation. No, okay. I was
I'm
gonna
part.
give you
You were going to give me the page? Oh, okay, amazing. Okay. I'm part of, but now I got to go back to see what I was saying. I'm part of One Night, a serial prayer. This is volume. Well, how do I count? I only have voice, sound, and a good pen. Our exchanges of warmth can't be traded in for fortune. This is the future. My white friend says, I look good. You brought me here to advocate for him. The best thing I've ever seen, a mirror of way too late. Don't we need to see ourselves, a lonely earth, burning up with a party hat and a drink in his hand, as if making a lot of noise was a plan? If I play nothing and see what it has, if I don't wear gloves, see how my hands do, covered with spots and bulging nerves. There's something impossibly true about the body, anyone's. I am still in Greece, and Laura's women, wrinkles or no, are weaving. It's just that wanting to produce, only that humming. The car went whoop, whoop. What if what I do now killed the dinosaurs? I betrayed you so long ago, and you hear that sound. What's that? Unpack the marvelous. Is someone spent lying on the beach looking at its feet? If most of the people on the planet are lost, but you see this big blue orb so far you can't even hear them cry, I need a nap. She's a recording, he's laughing at work on a plane. It's usually him married with kids, dick firing in the future. You don't picture your kids on those human forms. Let's play a game and tell me where you hid it on my planet. Just a little bit of change. I feel lost and more commingled with all those people crying in jail. Dirty, lost, a hand lost, an arm. I was just going to a fucking wedding. How dare I plan for there to be a future strapped into the plane? When we take off, it will change your thought. He made art out of very strong light, the corporate light of the present and the future. As a woman, she would obviously be more concerned with organizing loss. But it's a little bit later, just as dark out there, where we spin. What if someone was reading this? Is a book a world in which they killed everyone but pretended it was not happening? It is, and she puts the broken parts, the lights fading in Greece, in a gallery in Athens. This morning, she crosses her legs and reads the screen on her lap, which is glowing. I transport the apparatus for the celebratory cake. Don't bitch, I thought, and I'm driving her home, and her daughter is smiling, holding their child from another part of the planet. James, they have made a home for him, the home everywhere. This is what I think is good. Do care and offer Band-Aids and see the hurt and dig in, their purse on the boat to help. I am grateful that you have seen. Have I seen anyone in their pain? My mother scarcely breathing, we waiting her out. They don't care because I never could, but I care where? Standing way outside, seeing the blue, which is only in here, and I'm finishing because there's nothing else to do. I got the part where you don't say, you just do. All of her face is gleaming at me. The image is fixed. When she moves, be kind. We are all engaging in the mystery of what we have done with our kind. We are hurtling. Something's going on, and it's comforting to not entirely be the last, but being one of them. The painless world, because you're so far, get close. It's your only one, and you can really feel it and hear it. His History is crying. The light, what is it made of, is dim. Breathe, present, change.